Hey, Michael with XForcePC here. I want to talk about our Super Type R system. I know it probably sounds a little corny, but you may or may not be familiar with our Super system that we have on our website. Well, that's a really nice system, of course, and what we're calling this is our Type R, which is the souped up version of that system. So what we've got here is from the front, it looks just like our Super system. You know, it's got the vents here on the side, and then of course the tempered glass side panel, and then the lighting that, you know, kind of goes down the side here. And you can change, you know, these lighting modes if you want. But where it really changes is when we look around at the side. So let's do that now. Now, excuse me, as I turn this around. Through the tempered glass, you can probably see there's a lot going on in there. Now let me take off the, it shows up a lot better in person than it does on camera. I'm gonna take off the side now. And what we've got in here is a really high-end 2080 Ti for the graphics card. That's really the showpiece here. And what we've also got is there's a special adapter they make for this case to turn the graphics card upright like this. Normally the graphics card's sitting in sideways like this, and you wouldn't even see any of this, what's going on here. But with this special adapter, it allows you to turn the graphics card up like this, so it's standing up, and then you can see these neat fans. Now, one thing I'll mention, because of the refresh rate of the LEDs on here and the refresh rate of the camera, a lot of this looks like it's flashing quite a bit. It is not actually flashing really at all. It's very smooth animation, but you're probably seeing a really fast flashing because, just again, because of the refresh rate of the camera versus how fast the LEDs are you know, flickering on and off. You may not realize, but LEDs actually flicker on and off really fast. We've got some RGB memory up here that can be fully customized to do all kinds of different effects, as well as the RGB that's built into the water block. So just to recap real quickly, what's different about this versus the regular Super system? Let's make sure we're clear on that. Number one, we got the special mounting bracket that lets us mount this graphics card sideways. Secondly, we've got a 2080 Ti versus the 2080. Thirdly, this is a really high-end 2080 Ti. Most 2080 Ti's go for about $1,000. This one's about $1,300. And that's because it has these neat lighting effects and because it has an extra robust cooler on it. Lastly, we've got RGB memory here that can be fully customizable to anything that you want within reason, of course. You can make it totally dark. You can make the graphics card totally dark if you want. You can have a rainbow effect. You can cycle through the colors. There's all kinds of things you can do. And with this graphics card, this is called Rainbow Loop. And just imagine this effect without the flashing that you're seeing, the strobing. And that's going to be true on all of these effects. This one's called tricolor, so it shows 3 colors at any given time, you know, rotating around the fan. But again, without this flashing that you're seeing on the screen, there is no flashing at what I'm looking at. There is, let's see, claws is kind of neat. Again, no flashing here. So these things are rotating slowly, but without flashing to the naked eye. It just looks like it's flashing on the camera. Color shift, that's just gonna go from one color to the next. So it'll cycle through all the different colors. And I'm just changing the fans on the graphics card right now, done through software, which would be pre-installed. There's one called Intelligent, which will be based on the temperature of the graphics card. When it's green, the temperature's fine. It'll start to turn yellow as the card heats up and ultimately turn, I guess, orange if it gets really hot. There's an effect called Wave, just kind of, yeah, it's like a little wave going around, but I prefer the Rainbow Loop. So I mentioned you can customize the RGB memory, which the camera again is not doing justice to. But on your memory, you know, you can make it do different types of effects. We're on the rainbow wave right now, but for instance, this one's called rain. That's kind of wild. Yeah, that's showing up pretty well on the camera. It just depends on the effect, whether or not you're really going to be able to see it or not. This one's called visor. That's pretty wild. And then you can also do that one vertically, visor vertically. That's pretty wild. Oh, what else? We'll try one more, sequential. So that's going to cycle through the colors one stick of RAM at a time. That one's not as easy to see with the camera because it doesn't discern the color differences quite as well. But, you know, of course, it's fully customizable. And then, of course, your water cooler the same way. You've got the same types of effects you can do. I just turned on strobing, for instance. Now, I'm not a big fan of strobing, but you can see that the light on the water cooler is strobing on and off. I usually leave it on the rainbow effect. So there you go. There is the RTX, not the RTX, excuse me, the XForce Super Type R with some added bling to it. I hope you find that kind of cool.